All right. Well, good morning, Allison. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good.
Good. Your hair looks pretty today.
Thanks. I
You're-
like yours too.
Really? Thank you.
Yeah,
That's very
the
nice of you to
hairband's
say.
cute.
I like the hairband too. Yeah.
Well, is there anything that is on your mind or your heart today that you'd like to open up about?
Well, let's see. It's been a great week. However, Carl did not have a good week. He saw his mom, and when he came home, he was angry that some containers were in his way, and so he whipped them across, one of them across the kitchen towards the sink, and caused coffee cups and things that were soaking to spill over.
Oh.
Yeah, and in the past, I would have cleaned it up. And this time I thought, no, he made the mess, he can clean it up. And I asked him why he did it, and of course he was aggressive. And I just went, I don't have to engage in this. So I just walked outside and did something else and let him calm down and clean up his mess.
I know we had talked about the relationship between you, your husband, and your mother-in-law last week. And that appeared to be a very important stepping stone for you, is when your husband feels or acts volatile or aggressive, in your opinion, you then react, you used to react to his behaviors, but now you disengage.
Yes.
Okay. And how do you feel after you disengage?
I feel more empowered, not because I'm stuffing it, because I do ask the question, why did you do that? But it just comes across as it's my way to check myself and say, you know what? This isn't my baggage. It's his. And there's nothing I could say or do to fix it. So, I have a choice. I either ask the questions and disengage, or otherwise I guess I can completely disengage, but that seems to be a bit too big of a step, at least at this point.
And so if you're viewing this scenario in your mind of your husband throwing dishes or yelling, if you were to be able to change your behavior in some way to anything that you would like, what would that look like?
I don't know. I think right now the only thing I can do is disengage, because obviously a person wants to find words to make the other person stop and wake up, but a person's not going to stop and wake up until they want to. And so you just say, but I'm not going to play a role in your anger issues. If this type of stuff doesn't work, then I guess you have to say, do I want to, on too regular of a basis, continue to handle this?
Yeah.
And
so correct me if you're wrong, but currently right now you have this sense that you've tried everything from A to Z of how you can stop your husband's behaviors that you don't like. And now you're finding out that it's impossible or too heavy of a load. So that's caused you to do these disengagement behaviors when your husband is acting that way.
I think it's because, from A to Z, you go through all the books and you read all the you read all the books and watch the DVDs and everything else. And everyone has an opinion, but the reality of it is the opinions aren't going to stop the mess, because only the person can stop the mess. So instead of trying to fix it and trying to define it, you just decide, I'm not going to enable it.
Yeah. You've come to a place where you no longer feel that it's your responsibility to change your husband's behaviors?
Well, before it wasn't trying to change his behaviors as much as it was, don't do it to me.
Kind of, if you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then what would you like to work on with that? I mean, because it seems like, and tell me if I'm wrong, that's not where you want to stay in that relationship forever. It seems like to me that's not the most satisfying place to be.
I don't think it's a satisfying place for anybody, and so right now it's just take one day at a time and see if what's the word? What are the words? You're not responsible for anybody else's attitude but your own.
Yes, absolutely.
And so it's deciding, is the attitude, are you going to let their anger continue to bother you, or is the attitude going to be, you know what, you don't get to take my day, you don't get to take my hour, you don't get to take my feelings and energy because of your anger. I'm not going to do that now, and if that, I just figured that eventually I'm going to run out of patience and go, all right, well, I've done everything I can now.
Yeah.
For me and for my kids.
Okay. So maybe right now the picture in your head that you're looking for at the end of this road is that eventually you come to a place where he becomes peaceful,
Mm-hmm.
or you separate.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. I think that would be the right thing.
Okay. If you were to look at a goal for your behavior
Mm-hmm.
and companionship,
Mm-hmm.
what would your relationship with your husband look like?
An adventurous retirement. You know, travel, enjoy each other, respect each other, really take in the world all around us so that we have plenty of great stories to tell our children and our grandchildren, and just really have a great time together. But you can't have a great time together when you don't know when somebody's going to go off the rocker for no apparent reason.
Now, this is a tricky aspect
Mm-hmm.
in that it sounds like you've been trying to gain that goal for a long time of getting to do adventures together, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, and you've tried stopping the behaviors to get to this adventurous point in your relationship.
Well, not their behaviors as much as trying to change my attitude so that the behaviors don't impact me as much.
Okay, yes, that's a good correction, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're trying to stop being affected by these behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obvious that you also don't want him to have these at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a sense that in other ways, as in when you want a child to stop a behavior,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes getting them to stop a behavior is not by giving them punishments or taking things away. Sometimes changing behaviors is by showing them something better.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than crying when they don't get what they want, you show them how to use their words, correct? Or when they throw a fit, you can show them how they can earn something for themselves, right? You show them another way. And by them finding something more rewarding than that negative behavior, then the negative behavior stops.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a few ideas in mind, and I'm wondering if maybe you have some of your own, of what you would think would be some ways that you can increase these moments of adventure, these moments of compatibility. Maybe that will, and maybe the behaviors won't stop, but that will be strong enough where that adventurous retirement would be possible, rather than going down the road that would lead to there being nothing or separation. Let's start building together some ways where you can increase and keep increasing these positive moments.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some things that you think you can do with your husband that would make this small steps towards this more adventurous?
I think the only thing you can do with anybody is invite them. So, hey, I want to go to XYZ. You want to come? And if they say no, instead of staying home, you just go and come back and tell the fun you had or the adventures that you had. I think another way is to be able to sit down when things are amicable and tell some funny stories. Get some great jokes in, or you talk about your mutual interests that you have. I think that's always a benefit. And then when they don't want to engage in those types of conversations, don't be offended. Just say, oh, okay, and go on your merry way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want maybe a good time would be to pause here, and then we'll create a list of maybe some 3 fun things you can do every week to invite your husband to.
Mm-hmm.
How does that sound?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's easy. Let's see, I want to go, there is a local wine stomping, so you can go stomp grapes.
Put it there. I'm going to hear that part.